couple of pieces of advice so that we can start. The first one, and the most important, is this round of pitches is going to be recorded. So I need you to pitch to the mic so that you can be recorded, because your pitches are going to be seen in a university outside from here. I think LA, Loyola Marymount University, or in the Netherlands. I'm not sure yet. So I need you to be very clear, breathe, and speak properly. These pitches are going to be, your pitches are going to be 3 minutes long, and then the evaluators are going to have 4 minutes. ¿Me ayudas con el tiempo? ¿Sí? Hector, he is the one of the teacher of the other group, and your teacher of some of you, is going to help us with this. If you see him here with the green, we have rehearsed this so much. With the green one, it means that you start. We are ready to hear, they are ready to start. If you see this yellow one, it means that you have 1 minute left. So that you have to wrap up your ideas, and then if he shows the red one, it means you're done, okay? And then the evaluators will start their questions and so forth. You will see, where are they? Make sure that you do sign this piece of paper that it's going to be circulating around, because that's your assistance? No. Attendance. No, it's assistance. In Spanish is different. That's the attendance for today's round of pitches. Any questions? Are you ready? That's the list of the projects. That means that one of the team will present, and then the 4-minute question, and then you have about 1 minute, because you don't need to plug in anything. 1 minute for you to present, to be ready to be the next teams. There you are. Okay, then we're ready. Team number 1, 3 plus 3 minus 6. Where are you? Please do not forget to talk to the mics.
Does anybody here knows how many pills we take through our entire lifetime? No? Well, according to an investigation of Pharmacopoeia, we take up to 14,000 pills through our entire lifetime. And this number can go up to 40,000 if we count natural supplements. Here we can see a big issue. We take too much medicine that we don't need. Sometimes softly diseases such as a sore throat, a headache, a period cramp, or a small bruise can be treated with a natural remedy. We did some interviews to people between the age of 18 to 24-year-old who live by their own and don't have their parents around, and we discovered most of these people prefer to take natural remedies rather than taking pills, and this is a growing tendency. The problem is they don't have enough and reliable sources of information to make these recipes on their own, so they end up being dependable on calling their mom and waiting for the recipe so they can make it on their own, or in going to the pharmacy and buying a pill. And sometimes buying these type of products can cause more harms than benefits.
As my partner just said, the consumption of natural remedies above the pharmaceutical medicines in the specific case of injuries or just not that relevant diseases are a growing tendency in the world. just like the people that prefers to eat organic food above normal industrialized food, because it's healthier. Maybe it's easier to eat just whatever they put you in the supermarket. Sometimes the easiest thing is not the best for you.
Okay, when we take natural remedies, we are not exposing ourselves to secondary effects, because when you take pills, you expose yourself to a secondary effect and to damaging your organs, such as your pancreas or liver or kidney, you name it. And besides, you spend more money. So, according to a pharmacist, John Laporte, he said that around the globe, that intake of pills and medicine is the third cause of death after heart attacks and cancer. So 100,000 people die because of medicine errors, and another 100,000 die because of secondary effects. So now you tell me, how many pills do you want to keep on taking? Thank you.
Okay, hello. First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Mario Hernandez. This problem you are talking about, I am very familiar with because my mother has a natural remedy pharmacy. So I know what you're talking about. First of all, when you say pills, I think what you refer to is allopathic medicine, right? That's traditional medicine.
Yes.
You should use that term. And also what you were talking about at the end, the illness that is caused by medicine or by doctors, the word is diatrogenia. That's, look it up, it's diatrogenia in Spanish. So your market, you say it was 18 to 24 years old. Why that market?
Because it's generally are people who live now on their own because they are not from Guadalajara. So are people who are not locals. So they live here and they don't have their parents around, so they can, well,
so foreign students, basically,
yes.
Right?
I mean, it's not necessarily foreign students, but our how did you say it? The growing market, no, our first market. Mm-hmm. Yes, is them, because they are the people that we could interview, and we live like their situation. We feel like we understand that, and we can offer this just for starting.
Okay, and could you tell me what are you guys studying each?
Industrial engineer.
All of you?
No, me.
Gestión cultural, cultural administration.
Civil engineering.
Business. It's the same.
Business too.
Okay, I'm sure your teacher tells you there's many ways of innovating, because if you are not doctors, then you have to find a solution that it's oriented to one of your specializations, right?
Yeah, and the next question will be, why is this a relevant problem to you as a team? I mean, your why, you know what I mean? It's like, okay, it's maybe a relevant problem, but why is it relevant for you guys?
Well, as Miguel mentioned, most of us are not locals, so we encounter this constant problem that when we get sick, well, our initial problem was that foreign students don't have enough money to buy medicine. But then we pivoted and we discovered that it wasn't about the money. It was about information, and that sometimes we prefer to take those natural remedies instead of spending money in a pharmacy.
For what kind of symptoms of illness?
Yeah, it's not like for big diseases. I mean, medicine is important for our health, but we're talking about like hair throat, headaches, like when you feel you are gonna get the the like flu,
All right.
and you just take this honey with lemon and these kind of things that we
Okay.
normally don't know. Our parents taught us, teach.
And do you actually trust those kind of remedies? Like,
Yeah.
do you trust it?
In our interviews,
Okay.
17 out of 20 of our interviews to this rank of age told us that we normally trust these kind of remedies here in Mexico or Guadalajara between these ranks.
All right, let me ask you this. Do you want to get like better fast, or do you just want to like minimize the symptoms? I mean, did you make that question to your possible clients in the interviews?
That exact question, but the point was if they prefer it and how they feel about it.
Okay.
And normally they said that when they need like a fast solution, they prefer to take the pill. But that's why I said, like in the speech, that sometimes that's the easiest way to do it. I mean, if you really feel bad, you just go and take the pill, right? But just like put in an example that is related. Normally, vegan people or vegetarian people are not, their food is expensive. They don't have this easier way of doing this, but they do it because they think it's healthier for them, and that is better for your body sometimes. Thank you.
While the other team gets ready, I skipped, sorry for this, the introduction of the people that are listening to your pitches. Mario Hernandez, I'm sorry, and Alfredo Chavez. Both are very successful entrepreneurs. They are contributors to the academy from
Anna, 25 years old, 2 months pregnant, as excited as any mother could be about having her first child, until she had a spontaneous abortion due to a bad practice of exercise during pregnancy.
Monica, 6 months old, orphan. Her mother died of preeclampsia, a disease caused by obesity during pregnancy.
Mariana, 30 years old. Both her and her son suffer from type 2 diabetes because of gestational diabetes due to overweight during pregnancy.
Michelle, 28 years old, single mom. Couldn't be with her baby the first few weeks because of postpartum depression due to physical change after pregnancy.
This list goes on, and we could talk this about forever. But that's not what we're here for.
Pregnancy is one of the most important stages in a woman's life, and not having the adequate cares or lack of information can cause several secondary problems for both the baby and the mother.
Our clients are pregnant women and those who have just had their baby from 25 to 35 years old. This is important for women who want to have a healthy lifestyle for both them and their babies.
We all know at least one girl or one woman who has lived a pregnancy, and we can conclude that it is a fear for them to lose their bodies, to gain weight, to see stretch lines, cellulitis, and all that type of physical changes that can occur during the pregnancy. And that's why we want to help them. We want them to improve their body, their self-esteem, and also to make them feel better and good with themselves. But we cannot forget about the cares that this process implies. And we want to be with them step by step along the way. Because we know how exciting, but also how scary this process can be. And it is a completely lifestyle change. And that's what we want to do for her, to help them and to know that we are here.
Because
I see that. Did you find out what's the most urgent problem that it's need to address in this matter, like for young mothers that are pregnant? What is the most urgent, like the most painful thing that it happens when they're pregnant? I mean, I heard that they're scared sometimes of the process, the pregnancy process, till birth. But what is the most urgent problem?
In the interviews we did, almost all the women said that they were afraid of not recovering their bodies and to gain weight and all that physical changes that can occur. And we want to focus on that.
But we also want to be careful because some moms focus a lot like in conserving a good shape, and that can affect the baby if they make like wrong exercise. So like provide them like the right information so they can take care of themselves without affecting the baby.
Yeah, I had the same question because you talked about medical problems, but you also talked about beauty problems, so to speak. So, how did you do your interviews? Tell me about that.
Well, we interviewed like 5 different women, and we asked them like what problems they had, what their fears were, and well, they all say that about their bodies, and well, one told us that she had preeclampsia, that is a high blood pressure, and she didn't know about that. So we also want to share that to pregnant women.
I think 5 interviews are very little for having enough data for coming up to solutions. I think you still need to talk to more women. And I don't know if you investigated what are the solutions that are already available in the market.
Yeah, we made 5, and then we thought we were focusing on another problem, and then we made another 5 because we didn't want to make encuestas because it was like a service, because it was like a personal problem. So we thought it would be better if we made interviews. So when we made the first 5, we saw that there was a problem with the body, but we focused on another thing. And then on the other 5, we also saw the problem. So they were 10, where all the 10 women said the body was something they wanted to change or something they were worried about.
Okay, and about existing solutions, do you know about some programs, companies, plans?
Yeah, we investigated a little, and we saw some apps, but they are not just to pregnant women, like to everyone. And we want to do it just to pregnant women.
Okay, thank you.
Prime train.
Hello. Okay.
Bueno,
Sorry, can I just get 5 more seconds? I'm just waiting. Thank you. Thank you. All right.
Well, like 300,000 people, I take the train every day to go to work. And let me tell you about the existing train market here in Guadalajara. It's controlled by CITER and serves the municipalities of Guadalajara, Zapopan, Itlaquepaque. It's owned by the state of Jalisco, so it's like a monopoly.
It opened in 1989, and the first line runs from the north of the city to the south. The second line runs from the center of the city to the east of the city. Both of these lines carry over 300,000 users every day for all year from 5 a.m. to 11 p.m. Soon, a third line will open, and it runs from the northwest of the city to the southeast of the city, and it is estimated to have 230,000 new users.
Like myself, 300,000 other users are facing problems every day in the train. Thanks to our interview, we know that people suffer from an accessing problem, also organizational problem, train delivery, and train frequency. As a result, they don't have information about the ticketing informations, about they suffer from they have to push to get on the train, they are late, and there is also train overcrowded.
At first, we chose to work on the organizational problems of the train, for example, the frequency of the train and the overcrowding, but we decided, due to a variety of factors, to pivot and focus on the lack of information and the lack of clarity and the little information that is accessible.
Our target will be the person who take the train in general. We know that also our first consumer will be the daily users. The person would take the train every day because it's a cheaper option or because they live or work near train stations. We also know that people have problems due to a lack of information. So during the next few days, we are going to look deeper on information about to improve the experience to taking a train here in Guadalajara. Thank you.
Okay, so the first thing that I am a bit concerned about is that the train is operated by the state, right? So if you're trying to solve a problem for them, how is that gonna work? Like, how are you gonna make money out of it, right? Because you cannot be inside unless you have agreements with them or other kind of alliance.
I think we're gonna to cooperate with CITER. During our interviews, we interview people from CITER, and we talk about the problems of user and especially the lack of accessibility to information. So in the next weeks, we are going to cooperate with theater in order to see how we can improve our project.
When you see information, what information exactly? Because I've never done it, but if I Google the Guadalajara train lines, will I find stations, a map or something?
No, there is a website for CTUR which is supposed to have all the information in real time regarding where the train is, what the routes are, but the real-time information never works. The only real thing you're able to see on the website are the routes and the stations themselves, right? So that is what the clarity of information is lacking.
Okay, yeah, that's very important because now you're talking about real-time information, not just information. I think it's a relevant problem, but the segment is too small. Like if you can solve it for this train, then you can maybe also solve it for buses, which also don't have real-time information. So look into that.
Yeah, actually, I am worried about the relevance of the problem too, because I use the train a lot to go from the San Jacinto station to downtown, and it takes 10 minutes, and I know it's gonna take 10 minutes. That's it. Maybe Sundays it takes like 15, but I know more or less how much time it's gonna take me to get to downtown from that station, which is, I think, the well, I'm not sure if it's not the last one, but it's actually one of the last stations in the second line. So maybe buses have a real relevant and urgent problem right now. I mean, not the buses, us as users. So the thing is, you're focusing maybe on a problem that is not that relevant, and because people tend to know how much time it's going to take them to get from point A to point B, from one station to the other one, to get to their jobs, to their schools, etc. So I'm not sure. You have to go deeper and like focus on some problem that they really have. Maybe you can focus on some other issue around city. There's a lot of them, and because at the end, the train is just like it's less. What's the word? It doesn't have any issues. I mean, going from traveling the line, right? Because it's a train, right? Now buses and cars and Ubers and taxis, they have a problem about getting somewhere on time because of traffic and other problems. So it's just a recommendation, right? So go deeper or pivot.
Just if I can add something, I agree with you when you say, okay, from point A to point B, I will take 10 minutes. Every user know it. But I'm a daily user from the train, and I face a problem. There are a lot of people waiting on the platform, but they don't know when the train will arrive. And that's why sometimes you have train overcrowded and people who are pushing in order to get on the train. And as a result, sometimes people can't get on the train, they have to wait, and they are late, for example. They don't know when the train will arrive. So when you say it's not a real issue, I'm a little bit disagree, because it's an issue for us.
Okay, just go deeper and try to solve it.
Okay.
Sí, Simón. Sí, el mío, sí, sí. Es que tiene que estar vertecito. ¿Sí, no te lo paso?
Bueno.
All right. Good morning, guys. All right. So I'm going to ask you some questions, and I need you to be really honest with them, okay? Raise your hand if you remember if you spent the days with your family and friends and playing video games all night. Perfect. Did you went to Disneyland when you were a child?
Do you remember when you wanted to be an astronaut?
The president of Mexico.
Or a designer?
Soccer player.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. Not all the kids of this world have those dreams.
Do you remember being concerned about something when you were a child? Nope. All right. Have you ever been worried working for a living when you used to be a child?
Okay. He is Alfredo. He's 11 years old. He has to work all the week from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m. All the money he gains is to sustain his mother. He has never gone to school. His dream is to live in a peaceful world. He is Octavio. He is 10 years old. He eats twice a day. He has gone to school, but he had to quit to help his family. His dream is to go back to school again. In this project, we want to focus on the kids of the street in the ages of 5 to 14 years old, both male and female, that live in Guadalajara and its surroundings. All the photos we have shown you were taken with the knowledge and agreement of those kids.
All these kids live in a difficult situations, working for their survival, and the government does not have enough power to sustain or create foundations to help them. At the beginning of the project, we interviewed 100 random people to see what was the perspective that they have of them. But after that, we go to the streets ourselves and interview 10 kids. And we realized that the problem here is that they don't have the childhood that they deserve.
The relevance of this project for us is that we are part of the privileged population that have voice in our society, and those kids are not listened. Well, we noticed it is too difficult to take them out of the street, but we believe it's not impossible to make their childhood better, because at the end, we are the world, we are the children. Thank you.
Wow, great pitch. Congrats. I like the customs. I always say that there's a thin line between activism and social innovation business models. So my worry here is, it's actually a relevant problem, an urgent problem to solve in Latin American countries. Yet, how are you going to make it sustainable? I mean, whatever solution you come up with, how are you going to make this solution sustainable? Because otherwise you will be just doing activism, and that's fine if you want to do that. But for this purpose, maybe you'll have to think furthermore. Or, you know, you have to go maybe deeper in thinking, okay, yes, we identify a problem, relevant one, and then what are we going to do about it that we can make money with it somehow and make the solution sustainable for them, for the children you're talking about, all right? So just that, it's just something to think about, all right?
Yeah, same thing. Be careful if you choose a non-profit approach or a profit approach, and also understand that it's a very, very complex problem, so complex that the world has not solved it in not even the rich countries sometimes. And I like, if what I understand, what you're trying to do is help them live better, have more fun, or like, I don't know. I like that approach, because sometimes the approach people tend is just to solve the street situation, which a company cannot solve because there's laws. And I remember my grandmother once took in a kid of the streets and helped them and put them in a school, and he just escaped, right? So if it's something that excites the kids, then they will come to you. If you are trying to do something for them that they don't like, it's going to be really hard. Okay, thank you.
Okay, can I please ask you to raise your hand if you know that smoking tobacco increases your likelihood of dying prematurely? Yeah, so everyone knows that. Everyone knows that smoking tobacco is not good for you, it's not healthy, and we all try and avoid it. But did you know that actually eating unhealthy is the leading factor for premature death? And that's why we need to change the way we eat.
Okay, so we find a definition of being healthy in order to agree on the subject, everybody. And it's about lowering the risk of being ill or dying prematurely. And it's just not about a disease. It's about mobility. It's about increasing your lifestyle and not being ill. And it's about a well-being. And unhealthy eating causes a lot of cardiovascular problems or mobility problems. And that's why we were interested in solving problems about eating healthy. And in a survey, we find from the Figaro that 1 out of 5 persons die because of unhealthy eating. And I'll let you introduce Daniela about our experiments.
Okay, in our first experiment, we interview our early adopters or target market, who are people between 18 and 25 years old who live alone, because we wanted to know if healthy eating was really a problem to them. So we realized with that 90% of them told us that they would improve their lifestyle and the way they are eating if they could. But we wanted to go deeper, so we did a second experiment where our risk assumption was that the people don't eat healthy because they don't have time and they don't have money. But with that, we discovered that 70% of the people don't eat healthy for lack of time, not for lack of money. So, well, since the 70s, the number of fast food restaurants has doubled and also has obesity. So that's why we think this is a problem we need to solve. Thank you.
I think the problem is super relevant, but when you are fighting this problem, you're also fighting the big industry that's behind the problem, right? You're fighting against McDonald's, you're fighting against Little Caesars or whatever. I would recommend you get a lot into psychology because it's very important. Many people want to eat healthy, but they don't actually do it. Why is that? It's hard, right? And also look into what it's happening in more developed countries where companies have discovered that time for shopping and knowing how to cook things, it's a problem. So what they're doing, they're shipping the ingredients and the instructions to houses and for making really good and healthy meals. So that's one way of solving it, but what else can you do besides what already exists, right? How can you innovate in this?
Yeah, congrats. I think you have you've done a really good experiments and interviews, and you have all the information that we needed to know. But yes, I think you have to understand a little bit more about the social and emotional aspect of the problem. The functional is we need to eat healthy, right? Why? Because I don't know all the reasons. But the social and emotional aspect of the problem will help you understand better what kind of solution will actually work for your clients, right? And then make a business model out of it, all right? So it's just again a recommendation. Just try to understand the social and emotional part. The emotional part, it's actually it's the part that tells you exactly how and why we are not eating healthy sometimes, because as Mari said, yes, we all want to be healthy. We don't want to die prematurely. So yeah, but why is it that we are not eating healthy, at least not every day, maybe? So maybe there's another reason, and those reasons, not the whole problem, but what part of the problem can you actually focus on, right? With what kind of clients, and then understand those clients in the emotional aspect of their problem, right? And I want to see what comes out of it, right? Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Oh, it's my lunchtime.
Jose, I need you to get
It's
some
Emiliano,
lunches
sir.
from the warehouse right now.
But it's my
I
lunchtime.
don't care. It's your job. You have to do it.
It's always the same.
Have you ever wondered what's the average time an employee stays at a job in Mexico? Well, it's between 3 and 36 months, which means the working environment is not stable.
Mexico is one of the countries with the highest levels of personal rotation in Latin America. Do you know why?
It's because enterprises have no interest in investing in the wellness of their employees. They have no initiative to develop near health or personal development programs or even improving their working conditions.
But why is this a problem? According to the tendencies of wages and employment studies realized by the SH, Secretaría de Hacienda, hiring a new person costs around 35% of the annual wage of the position. And all of these costs transfers into recruiting, selecting, integration, capacitation, and the learning curve.
The constant rotation of employees not only affects the productivity, but the incomes of a company, as well as their culture and their employer brand. After talking with the HR department of a shoe store, we found out that they needed more stable employees who were willing to stay longer in their companies. And the employees needed to feel secure and supported in order to be comfortable at their jobs.
So the market that we want to focus on are small and medium companies that struggles with personal rotation. And some of the causes of personal rotation are bad salaries, bad working environments or conditions, a lack of training, and several more.
Finding a job is hard enough to leave soon after unsatisfactory working environments.
Employees who believe their bosses are concerned about them, not just as an employee, but as a whole person, it's proven that they are more productive, more satisfied, more fulfilled. So satisfied employees also means satisfied customers, which leads to higher profits. So it is definitely a win-win situation. Thank you.
Congratulations on your pitch. I think it was great. It had great information, and the relevance of the problem is very, very real. Actually, just after here, I have to go meet an architect because he's going away from the company, and we just hired him 3 or 4 months ago. So it's very difficult to find people, and then it's very difficult to retain people, and then it's very difficult to start the process all over again, right? So your market segment, it's the companies or the employees? The companies. The companies, yeah. Okay, perfect. I think in Mexico especially, there's a culture that's very traditional still, and in that culture does not fit with the new paradigms. So I really want to see what you come up for the final presentation.
Yeah. somehow I felt like the employee is the victim here. No, what about the employer? I mean, what are the pains of the employer? As Mario says, difficult to retain an employee sometimes. Maybe it's a two-sided problem. You know what I mean? So try to understand that other part of the problem and see what you can come up with as a solution. Maybe it's not something that you can be general about. I mean, like talk about every employer is doing this, and there's a lack of culture, and they're not giving them enough money or incentives or training or whatever. Maybe they are doing that, but what about the other part? Huh? It's not that the employer is a victim or the employee is a victim. Maybe it's a two-sided problem. So you have to put that in context and then go to the context and observe what is the real problem in both, and try to come up with something that is really interesting for both parts. And I think you will come up with something more on the employer side. I'm just guessing. I don't know, but I think it's a good problem to work with. And congrats for your pitch also.
Bueno.
I want you to raise your hand if you can remember the last time that you were hungry. But I mean, like, really, really hungry. When was the last time that your stomach actually ached? Or that you couldn't even think straight because you were so hungry? For many of you, this is not a problem. But for 6.1 million people in our country, it's a struggle that they have to live with every single day. Over 10.4 million tons of food are wasted every single month in Mexico. With this food, we could be feeding over 7.4 million people. As you can now realize, with the food that we waste, we could be feeding the hungry in our country.
The problem is that there is a huge gap between the food that is being wasted daily and the people that are malnourished or dying of hunger. We are directing our project to people who live in extreme poverty, who are malnourished or starving, or who have no secure access to food every single day. Our market is a resegmented market because there are already NGOs like the BDA, Banco de Alimentos, the Freedom from Hunger Organization, and the Crusade Against Hunger Organization that are already working towards this solution, but there is still a lot of room for improvement. For example, in Mexico, the food bank collects up to 100 tons of food every single day. and that feeds around 1.4 million people. But there are still 4.7 million people who don't have access to this solution.
Around 3 out of 10 people can't afford the basic consumer basket. In regards to Mexico, this is roughly around 35 million people. Also, according to El Universal, 25 people die from starvation every single day in our country.
So at first, we directed our interviews to big chains, supermarkets, and fast food restaurants, but we quickly found out that they already have a lot of systems in place and ways to manage food waste in order for the loss to be as small as possible.
Food poverty isn't a supply problem, it's a redistribution problem. As you can see, there's a huge gap between the food that we waste and the people that are dying from starvation. We chose this problem because we would like to help contribute to reducing the size of this gap, and we will hope that you will join us.
Okay, good presentation. It's alarming that this is happening all the time and we don't even notice. You said it very well. It's not availability of supply problem, it's a redistribution, but it's also a logistics problem because where food is wasted the more is in cities, and people who suffer the hunger the most are in places very, very remote, like Sierra Tarahumara, or like places that are very hard to access, right? So there could be a lot of approaches you could take. One is seeing how to process the food so that it doesn't go to waste. Another one is how to distribute it quickly. And also look what organizations like Banco Alimento are doing, because they are not giving the food away for free. It creates dependence and it takes dignity away from people. So they ask for something, maybe very, very little, but something in return, so that people also help themselves. Congratulations, and also on the market segment, try to reduce it. If you attacked hunger in Mexico, I hope you've solved it, but I don't think you will solve it. If you maybe attack it for only one village, maybe with Chole, with Rarica, and you solve it for that's a huge impact, only solving it for one village. Okay?
Thank you. Okay, I have one question and one recommendation. Well, actually a story, real quick. The question is, who's your client? You have to be like real clear who are you going to solve this for? I mean, the beneficiary is not your client necessarily in a social innovation business model. And the story is about a startup that I know. It's working, it's recollecting food in good state, and then does a business like a catering business. So it's offering like catering, but with reutilize a good state food for some events, small events, more than bigger ones. But it's working, it worked, but it's kind of difficult to keep up with it and make money out of it. But it's keeping up and trying to make this profitable. And yeah, so you have to understand who's your client, not the beneficiary of solving this problem. So if you have this clear for you, for all of you as a team, then I think you'll work in a great project, because it's a really, really relevant problem right now for all the reasons Mario said. And I know you already did your research about it. So just have that clear, all right?
Thank you so much.
Hi there. Let me tell you a little story. One day, I was walking down the street. My family, as usually, was waiting for me. There was no one around. I would turn over back to see from time to time, just to be sure. When suddenly, I heard some steps behind me. And I thought, keep walking, it's nothing. But the steps, they got closer and closer. I turned around and recognized a man's figure. A million thoughts came through my mind. I crossed the street to see if he would follow. He did. I started walking faster, but the adrenaline was too much. I started running as fast as I could. I turned the corner. I was almost there. I felt my heart coming out of my chest. I got home, got my keys out of my bag, opened the door, and rushed in, closed it behind me, and I crumbled to the floor. I could finally breathe. I was safe. For now.
According to the INEGI, in Mexico, 8% of women of 15 years old or older have suffered from physical violence, 31% have suffered from public harassment, and 38% from sexual abuse. This means that 3 out of 4 women in the country have suffered from some kind of violence, at least at the age of 15. This is why our topic is so relevant, because this is attempting against women's mental and physical health. We decided to put me and men here talking about this, because this is not something about women against men. It's something about good people against bad people.
Out of 100 women that we surveyed, not even one told us that they feel safe going out in the street alone. That's why we want to focus on young women, which are students between the ages of 17 and 25, who just doesn't feel safe going out in the streets anymore. So I'm going to ask you, are we going to keep watching this happen each and every single one day like some spectators, or are we going to try to do something? Because life doesn't get better by chance. It gets better by change. And each one of us in this room can make a difference. But together we can make the change. Thank you.
Congrats on the presentation. I love it. I love it when you guys tell a story and the drama and the sound. I mean, it's great. Congrats for that. Great pitch. And the only concern I have, it's something that you mentioned, is good people versus bad people. I'm not sure that that will be a great definition for the context you're talking about. Yes, I know in that particular story, there's maybe someone that's going to do something bad, but polarizing, you know, the context, the social context of it, it's not the best idea. I think you can use different words or different concepts, and you're trying to solve this. It's not like you're gonna be like heroes and, you know, you're gonna be champions of this justice and against the bad people. You know, it's not about that. All right. So just that. It's something that just popped up when I was hearing you. And also, technical question then, market segment. Can you explain a little bit further about the market segment, the interviews, what kind of research you did?
Well, we did a lot of surveys, especially with these ages, because with women are more propense to suffer from this, because the ages where women are going out more in the streets because they work, because they are in college, and that's why we want to focus on that mainly. And the surveys that we did, all the women that we asked were also interviews, were studying women that felt this being a relevant problem in their lives like every single day.
I also like the presentation. When you talk to the emotional part of people, it's easier to get a response. I know this is a problem. I have friends, I have a sister who all the time tells me they are afraid to do something when they shouldn't be. But it's also a problem that you need to be careful, because if you say, oh, I solved this problem and then you didn't solve it, the downside can be really big. So see all the angles from where you can approach this, right? There's technological solutions, there's social solutions, there's maybe logistical solutions. So be very creative when you brainstorm, and good luck.
I'm going to take advantage of this quick break to give you a couple of announcements. You will see on the back of this room information with regards to one workshop that is going to be here at ITESO. One of the competences that you need to develop is related to communicate. So about gamification and about storytelling. He's an expert, and he's going to be here I cannot see the date, I'm sorry, but you will see it over there. And you will get also through your emails and on the website, ITESO's website, you will see the information related to that. Please go, because this is mostly for this kind of events. It will give you good tips. The other one is that during the summer, also trying to improve your foreign language competences. It's going to be the second part of this course. This one is Innovation and Entrepreneurship. And the next one is Business Models. We're going to have one expert from Loyola Marymount from Los Angeles. He's a teacher that's going to be here. And these super fast summer courses last just 1 month. I mean, you will get your 8 credits in 1 month during summer, 4 weeks, and you're done. This teacher, his name is Alexander, I cannot see the name, but I know him very closely because he is working on the social innovation innovation issues. And he's going to be here sharing with us and trying to make a partnership with this area, because we do have a partnership with Loyola Marymount from many years, back many years. And in this group that I am also the teacher, for me it is very important to see, because internationalization of the projects is one thing that we need to encourage. And by doing this, taping you and showing this to other students from other universities, but also with taking you whenever the opportunity is here, we take you, and I will choose from the people that take the English language options or courses. And the third and last, I do coordinate a group of voluntary students in the Enactus team. Enactus is, I will write it down on the board. Enactus is an organization of students focused on solving social issues from all over the world. I mean, it happens here in Mexico and also in the rest of the world. We do have a competition, and I need 2 students strongly interested in changing the world. We're working here in Santa Maria, across the Periférico, so it's very near. We take you there, and we're trying to develop entrepreneurship competences in these people. The thing is, the attractive part of this project, of the Enactus team, is that ITESO downloaded federal funds to open a Fab Lab. You know what a Fab Lab is? It is a small laboratory where you can prototype things so that people stop making jericayas and start thinking of doing something with more value added to offer to the people and have a better income. I will leave you my email so that you can contact me if you're interested in knowing more about Enactus. I don't need many students. I need very special and committed people. And if you agree to come, you will represent ITESO during summer, a couple of days on June, sharing the project with all students from Mexico. And if we win, we go to the World Cup, that I don't know where it's going to be, but it would be fantastic. If you are interested, contact me, please. Thank you. We're fine?
Yep. Ready to go.
Hi, Mariana. How are you? Long time no see.
I know, right? I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Where are you going?
I'm just going to work. I'm waiting for my bus.
Me too. Oh, that's actually my boss. Maybe later we can go for a coffee or something. It was so nice to see you.
Yeah, we'll see.
Give me all your belongings. Come on, hurry.
Well, as this example, violence against women in Mexico is a very big social problem. Actually, being a woman in Mexico has too many challenges. Sexual harassment and other ways of gender violence are common even in public spaces. This is so alarming and sad at the same time, because we are supposed to be, because security in our country is supposed to be one of the main rights.
Yeah, we're going to show you some rough numbers according to the INEGI of all crimes committed that were reported, I repeat, reported, were the first stuff that were the most common to women were kidnapping with 92%, then incest with 91%, then it goes sexual molestation with 9%, and rape with 88%. Next off, of the victims, what they stopped doing according to that were into a crime. Letting their minor go out, almost more than 70%. Use of jewelry in public spaces, almost 60%. And get out at night with 52%.
Our early adopters will be young women, young college women who like to go out, especially at night. We did some interviews, and the insights that we got from them is that they take a lot of measures to protect themselves against situations that would put them in insecure situations. Some of the measures that they take to protect themselves is that they always have to have battery on their phones, so they have to carry an extra battery. They always have to have a cell phone plan to be able to call someone for someone else to help them if they feel threatened. They don't dress however they want to. They dress in whatever will make them feel more secure. And they don't like to go out alone. They don't go out, sometimes they don't go out because no one will go with them. And finally, the violence against women is a very important problem, and we encourage you to do something about it. Thank you.
Great pitch. I like the pitch too. It's something that I really enjoy, just seeing you guys tell a story. It's kind of the same problem as the other team, kind of. I know it's gonna be different at the end, at least your solution maybe. But right now, I think this is like it's a cultural change that we need. It's not that there can be another solution, any other solution about it, but we need a cultural change of how we perceive more profound issues like education and poverty and all the things that, because those are the symptoms. That's what I wanted to say. What you represented here, maybe it's a symptom of something that it's a bigger problem. I don't know. But why is this relevant to you? This is something that I actually wanted to know. Why is this relevant to you as a team? And are you thinking of focusing on like a single aspect of the problem, and which one is it?
Well, I personally had a couple of friends that were robbed in the streets and they were devastated. So I was like, hey, I want something to help you. You know, it's something that is very close to me because of my friends. It's one of the things.
I just have to say, I think the segment you chose, maybe you chose it because it's closest to you, but maybe it's not a segment that suffers these problems a lot. I imagine that maybe women in the lower socioeconomical segments maybe are more vulnerable. Look into that. And yeah, it's always interesting how two teams that have similar problems come up with different solutions. So it's always better to try to make a solution that it's profitable, because in that way it proves that you are providing value to your segment. So yeah, think about how can you make money solving this problem, not just do another program because there's already a lot in place. Okay, thank you.
Please do me a favor and keep in mind these two questions throughout the pitch. Is eating healthy a daily concern for me? Am I a priority to myself? We surveyed 53 working people. Responses showed 87% said eating healthy is a priority, while 33% said they lack the time to do it. The answers showed that most eat 1 to 4 times a week on the street, which means spending 100 to 500 pesos. No wonder why McDonald's is selling 75 burgers per second and earning 1.4 billion daily. And guess how much of that goes to salads? Only 2%, according to Business Insider.
Our client is simple. Workers from 30 to 45 years, middle high class, who, in spite of loving fast food, they feel more encouraged to be given a planned diet. That is, even if they don't have the time. We said that the age represents higher income and greater benefit for us. So you might wonder, what is the relevance of the problem? We acknowledge that many people have tried to solve this without success. We prefer to narrow down our client because many people choose to pick a big range between those. But even so, the survey's answers showed that having no time is an issue. We thought of Workers' Day, and we concluded that the real reason, the center of the problem is I have a lack of organization, so I can't give myself the time. Well, although eating healthy might be a priority, it's still not on top of the list. So I ask you again, is eating healthy on your daily plans? Are you a priority to yourself? Thank you.
Congratulations, good pitch. Same as with the other team, you have a problem that is similar to another team. And I think it's right what you're saying, it's a priority issue because people are always saying they don't have time, but at the same time, you realize that people are using their cell phones like 5 hours a day. So I don't buy that crap, right? If you have 5 hours to look at the screen, you have enough time to eat healthy. So good luck, and
yeah, a great pitch. I love that synchronization. That talks a lot about the teamwork, and that's actually something really good for what you're doing in this project. It's about teamwork at the end, collaboration, right? Can you talk about your the team actually? What are you studying right now? What are your careers?
I study business.
Design.
Design as well.
Mechanical engineering.
Business.
Wow, did you have the full multidisciplinary team right there? Design, business, engineering, the maker, the insiders, the creatives. That's great, and this is actually a good representation. Now, the problem. Yeah, there's a lot of startups that are trying to address this problem also. Actually, I have a student myself that it's working right now in a startup out there. It's not for a project, it's actually a real startup. And it's going well, but you know, it's not doing great yet. Hopefully he will. But the thing is, it's about, yeah, if we have the time. Right now, I work for Intel, and we have a cafeteria. I have all the healthy food I need right there. And it's kind of cheap for us employees. So it makes me think about if it's actually time, or is it about that we don't have a close place to eat healthy, or habits too? That's the personal and social issue, or the part of the problem. But then I would like to know a little bit more about what you think the problem is. I mean, like the real problem and the one you're going to focus on.
Yes, we consider that many answered, I don't have time, there's not enough like places, but we think the main problem is not giving it the priority, the top of the list place. Like, you want to eat healthy, then do it. You have the time. Give yourself the time and organize yourself. Like, take some apples, some almonds, take something. Like, you need to know what to eat in order to achieve your goal of eating healthy.
What I'm talking about is the why. I mean, why is people not giving for them time to eat healthy? Why? That's the what. They're not doing this and they're not doing that.
Importance?
The why, yeah. I mean, and those things are only, that information is only available to you if you interview real people, right? It's the why that matters.
It's because people are dying. 2.8 million of the annual adult deaths are associated to overweight and obesity. Diseases like diabetes, cardiovascular diseases. We are still the second place worldwide in obesity, so it's a health issue also. So that's why it's important, because people are making decisions that are killing them.
Okay, I understand. It's a problem, and the why is a problem. I understand that. The why people are doing something, why are they acting like they're, behaving like I don't want to eat. It's not that they don't want to eat healthy. It's something else. And what's the pattern of all the people that you interview? That's the question. And I leave it to you. Don't answer that.
Hello, everyone. Please raise your hand if you wish you had a healthier lifestyle. Now, raise your hand if you started to go to the gym at ITESO at the start of the semester and you dropped out. Well, you're not the only one, and actually 90% of the people who start working out dropped out after 6 months or even before, according to the Gabinete de Comunicación de Estratégica in Mexico. Yet, healthy lifestyle is more than ever promoted. You see it everywhere. You can see it on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube. Everyone is raving about being healthy and working out. So the question is, why so many people are into healthy lifestyle, but they end up dropping out? Well, this concerns mainly young people from 80 to 30 years old who are active on social media and are willing to start working out. And you might think the actual problem would be money, because let's face it, gym membership, having a coach, purchasing healthy food, organic food is expensive. But actually, when we did our interviews with my team, we realized that money is not that much of a problem when you really want to get into a healthy lifestyle. What is a problem is the people's expectations and the gap that there is with the reality of maintaining a healthy lifestyle and seeing the actual results. think about it. There's so much information out there on how to be healthy, and they're all different, and sometimes they contradict each other. So even if you're motivated to get into a healthy lifestyle, you don't know where to start. You don't know how to start, and even when you start, you don't know how to keep up with this. So with my team, we would like to help people who are willing to change their lifestyle and get into healthy habits for good and not just for 6 months.
Okay, I think we all know the problem you are talking about. My roommate actually started going to the gym, and 4 months later, he got a girlfriend, and that day he stopped going. It's true. Yeah, Kike knows the guy.
Yeah.
And I also see that because I go to the gym from like 10 years now, and every January it's full. And then people start dropping out. By November, the gym is all for me. Yeah. I think that people see exercise as a punishment or as something that it's, they don't actually enjoy it, but they want to get the results. So the question might be how to make exercise fun so that people actually enjoy it. I know Kike does like a kind of cycling that has music and all that. Yeah, so it's actually more enjoyable. I also thought about this problem myself. Like, what if a Friday night I want to go out, but I don't want to drink? Like, I want to do exercise instead of drinking, which is what people do, right? There's no solution for me. I'm a customer without a company to attend to me. So I think it's a good problem, and I want to see what you come up with.
Thank you.
Same here. I was thinking about something you said, the expectation. What healthy lifestyle means for each and every one of us. I mean, it's not the same. I mean, healthy for me, it's something else that maybe for you. And it's about the expectation I have of the word healthy. Yeah. I want to eat healthy because I want to feel healthy, because I want to look healthy, and healthy for others, for me, for my partner, for my couple, or for whom, right? Yeah. So expectation. And that leads me to the market segment, the niche or the segment. And maybe you can focus on a specific segment that have a pattern of expectations to come up with a solution for them, and then that scale up from there. You know what I mean?
Definitely,
so I think it's a reflection also for the other team, because it's about expectations. I mean, I want to eat healthy because I want to be healthy, because I want to feel healthy, because you see what I'm going? It's about the job we're trying to do when we have the healthy word on our minds.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
Great pitch.
Thank you very much.
Okay, this is it. We're through. Thank you very much for this exercise. I hope this was helpful for you, and we expect great projects in the end. Where are the signature paper? Is everybody there? Have you all signed this up? Make sure before you leave that you have it there. The results from this and the reflection will be done with your teachers in your next class.
Yeah, I just want to say something for my students. I just, in the morning, I just put like a survey in the Facebook group. Please answer it. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you very much. Bye. Don't forget to go to Enactus. If you're interested, go and see what that is about.